So we have some shocking new developments in the Megan Plays and Leah Ashe situation, and most of it has stemmed from information that Megan has been sharing in comment sections, and I want to go over it because we have a ton to go over. I've been trying to wait and not make as many videos about the situation because obviously I want to be respectful and not, come across like I'm trying to talk about every single little thing. So I've compiled a variety of screenshots, messages, and stuff like that I thought would be interesting to talk about, especially since you guys have been requesting that I talk about this stuff. Now, with that in mind, before we get into it, I do want to clarify I am simply a consumer online consuming content, and this is my personal opinion and interpretation of the content that I am consuming. I'm not saying anybody's guilty. I'm not trying to make any allegations. I'm simply consuming content posted publicly on a public forum and therefore giving my interpretation as a regular consumer. And I would encourage you guys to also formulate your own interpretations when you guys check out these channels, in your free time. Now, with that in mind, also, I did see a comment that Megan had left about one of my previous videos where she said she wasn't sure where I had gotten, I guess, the interpretation that people were upset that Megan was on dating apps. I got that information from a Reddit thread that people were making, and I chose not to include screenshots because I didn't want people getting harassed, because I understand people commenting on that are probably young kids, and I wouldn't want anybody to be, getting bashed or anything like that. But out of transparency's sake, going forward, I'm going to make sure to include all the screenshots that I'm using in my videos and not blur any usernames, just so you guys can see transparently where I'm getting the information from, so you know that I'm being fully honest and forthcoming. Now, with all that out of the way, the first message or comment that we're going to look at is actually one that was left under an edit that somebody had made basically of Megan. And under this edit, Megan wrote, "Walked past Leah's house yesterday. Clover cried because she wanted to see her and was calling her name. Hurt worse than missing the steps, TBH." Now, if you guys don't know, Clover is, of course, Megan's child, and Leah apparently lives a couple houses down from Megan. They live very close to each other, and this also relates back to the pink flower situation, which I spoke about previously, where Megan had planted pink flowers in front of Leah's house as like a housewarming gift when Leah moved close to Megan. And Leah apparently still has those flowers planted there. And Clover, I guess, has been trying to, want to go and visit Leah because, again, Clover's a child. She's Megan's child, but she doesn't quite, understand necessarily what is happening because she's young. And, I have a lot of respect for the fact that Megan's trying to keep Clover out of it and not really involve her in it. But I can imagine how difficult this would be for a mother, especially considering that the person your child is wanting to see is someone who has done you allegedly dirty so badly. And I genuinely cannot even imagine what this must feel like. Now, also important to note that I saw a lot of people saying, what does she mean by the steps thing? The steps thing was that Megan had previously made a comment about how apparently Clover had been going to gymnastics because she has gymnastics classes, apparently, according to Megan. And while she was there, it was Zach and Leah who were apparently taking Clover to this particular class. And at that class, Clover took her first steps. And Megan missed out on that opportunity because her ex-best friend had taken her spot in going to this gymnastics class. And obviously, again, that would be incredibly hurtful and damaging. And the creator of the edit replies, "You don't deserve this, Megan," which, again, I think we can all agree. Now, this next part, I didn't actually see the video when it first came out, but Megan basically posted this to her story about a video on TikTok that was taken down. And the reason I found out there had been a video between these two videos was because this comment reads, "You dodged a huge bullet, Megan." And when I went to click on that comment, the video was not available. And then Megan posted this to her story, which shows like a screenshot of her video that was taken down for community guideline violations. Interesting. And I'm reading it, it's kind of blurry, difficult to see, but it says, apparently this is a message that she sent to Leah, and it writes, "You are a deranged C-word. You will never be me. You will never be Clover's mom. Get help, you psychopath." Which, I've seen a lot of people, which you guys can look at the comments in that video saying that this was too far, things like that. I don't think it's too far. I think this is a completely justified reaction. And that video was taken down, I think, for being hateful or something. But essentially, Megan clarified that she sent that text to Leah after finding out that Leah had gotten a Z tattooed on her. Which, keep in mind, there has been allegations or rumors kind of going around the community for a couple months now that Leah allegedly has had this fixation and obsession with Megan, where a lot of the tattoos, including a butterfly tattoo and various other kind of cosmetic features, such as, getting her hair dyed and stuff like that, haircuts, etc., have been incredibly similar to Megan. And getting a Z tattoo, i.e. for Zach, that Megan also has, is currently getting lasered off, obviously made Megan upset, rightfully so, because that's really creepy. That's really creepy and very weird. Now, Megan posted this on her story in response, and she says, "TLDR, no, Leah and I aren't friends," because I guess there was a video that went viral of somebody claiming that Megan and Leah were friends again, which we're going to get into the whole friendship dynamic in a second here, but someone had lied and said that Megan and Leah were friends. It caused a ton of views to go to Megan's page and people saying, "You're friends again, you're friends again." No. And so Megan posted this as evidence to show that they are not friends. She said, "I posted my last messages to her because I was crashing out when I found out she got a Z tattooed on her since I have that. I felt it was furthering the copycat narrative, gross and weird." And man, I'm about to harvest these views while looking chopped AF, and the violation says it was for hate speech and hateful behavior. I agree I was being really mean, haha, very liberal use of the C word, but news got out, so it's cool. Which, honestly, if someone's behaving that way, I feel like there's nothing wrong with calling out the behavior, you know what I mean? Now, this is the video that Megan had taken the comment from the previous video that was deleted that said you dodged a huge bullet, and people were saying that, because in that video she said, no, I didn't dodge the bullet, like it hit me in the heart, like I'm still bleeding out, and a lot of people took this literally. However, this person writes, OMG, I thought you actually got shot. And Megan replied, I did tell Zach I would rather him murdered me than do this to me. Which really, I think, goes to show like how impactful this whole situation had been. I think a lot of people can understand that, oh, cheating is bad, or oh, this betrayal is bad. But until you see like the multi-dimensional layers of what has occurred, and as Megan is sharing more information, I think people are becoming more aware of just how deranged and messed up this whole situation is. It's genuinely shocking. Now, this person says, because Megan actually recently got a cosmetic procedure, I think it's like a CO2 laser or something I saw, which lasers off, to my understanding, the top layer of your skin or something to help, you know, with hyperpigmentation, with any like acne scarring. It basically gives you like a newer layer of skin, I guess. This person says, whose skin are you wearing? Because she was healing and her skin was quite scabbed over and was, you know, obviously pretty raw. And she wrote Leah Ashe, which I thought was kind of funny. Now, this other video was posted today, and these are apparently DMs that happened right before Megan found out about Zach and Leah allegedly cheating, okay? And she writes, I feel like I should join the convo, because apparently, I guess, Zach and Leah were having a conversation about, like, feelings and things like that. And then Megan says, the Aries full moon is in the 11th house of social circles and community, so I'm paranoid, and it's in your 7th house of committed relationships and marriage, some kind of tweaking, which, it's insane to me. I did some research on this, but, like, the stuff she's saying here very much relates to what has occurred, and it's making me think, I've never been into astrology, but now I'm thinking maybe I have to explore it, because this stuff is kind of uncanny. Now, she goes on to say, I'm going to let y'all talk as long as you need to, but hearing you say you guys are talking through your feelings and y'all's part has me stressed. If it's about y'all having deeper feelings for each other and walking away, and then she blurs up the last part. And he says, everything is okay, I promise. We're wrapping up. This was very needed. And she says, it's kind of rude and twisted, honestly, though. And then he goes, where are you? Now, a lot of people were very quick to clock how it seems like, allegedly, Zach was not, you know, being very receptive to Megan's feelings here. He was kind of just ignoring the fact that she was upset about this and kind of just, like, not reading what she's saying, it seems like, and just saying other things, which I can imagine would be infuriating, right? Now, Megan writes this. These texts were sent a couple hours before I found them. And this person by the name of Val says, I hope at night when it's dark and everyone is asleep, he thinks about how effed up he is. He will live with regret and have to make something work with her, because if he doesn't, what was the point? She's a man-eater, she'll get bored with him soon enough. Karma has a weird way of working out, and Megan liked that. This person says, and the fact that they're still together makes me sick. And Megan says, same. This person says, wait, so they were having this conversation and you still didn't see him for hours after. OMG, you're literally so much better than me. They were so lucky to have someone like you in their life, and this is what they did. Every time a new detail is dropped, I get more and more mad for you. And his responses to you are so infuriating to me, just so casual and chill. And Megan responds, no, I saw him. Then him and Leah left again because she was crashing out. Then I found them after that. Now, there has been this like sort of speculation, I guess, which Megan, I don't think has fully come out and said it per se, but that Zach and Leah were, I guess, being somewhat physical. This is alleged, and that's when Megan found them. So it sounds like my interpretation of this, which I could be wrong, is that, you know, Zach and Leah were allegedly talking about their feelings or what was going on. Megan then spoke to Zach, and then from what she's saying here, then Zach and Leah left because Leah was upset and I guess crashing out. I'm not exactly sure what that entails, but they left, and then Megan found Zach and Leah together a little bit after that, which, according to her Instagram story, which you guys did send me, she alleges that Leah laughed in her face when she found them. And if that's true, genuinely, what the hell? Like, that's so messed up. This person says, whenever or if you're ever ready to tell the story, Megan, the whole internet will be behind you. Her career is done for good, and both of their reputations are not only ruined to the public eye, but personal lives too. And then this person writes, the way he's just ignoring you is crazy. And Megan says, oh brother, you don't even want to know. This is where we're getting to the really messy stuff, which I was really quite shocked by. This person says, he does not deserve to have you speak to him at all. If you stop messaging him outside of talking only about your daughter, he would collapse. When he sent you the photo of the purposeful note of her love letter to him, he is doing so to keep you hooked. Which, if you guys don't know what this person's referencing, I believe it was referencing a picture that Zach took of Clover at his desk. And on his desk, on one of the monitors, you could see sticky notes that were love letters from Leah, okay? And then they go on to say, Megan, he never wants you to move on from him. He knows you naturally love him and respect him, and you unfortunately were subjected to extreme abuse in ways I don't believe you even fully know, despite already living in the anguish and turmoil from what they did. His manipulation and abuse towards you went way deeper than what he has admitted to you. If you exclusively message him for pickups and say you want update photos through family members only, he will see exactly how narcissistic this man is. You will see exactly how narcissistic this man is. He will go into a full-blown narcissistic collapse. And Megan responds to that and says, yeah, I went no contact last week aside from communication about Clover. Realistically, it's not acceptable for him to have any access to me since he didn't choose me and betrayed me in the most diabolical way ever. He's waiting for the day for us to become BFFs again. Now, in this sort of sense, I've seen some other comments about this, but I think she means her and Leah to become best friends again, which if Zach thinks that's ever going to happen, it's obviously not. And especially since Megan had just had her child when this stuff was all going on, and someone who's already so vulnerable in postpartum, who is recovering from having a child and is trying to navigate motherhood, to have allegedly the worst kind of betrayal possible occur with both your best friend and your ex-husband is insane. Now, the final comment, excuse me, that we're going to read, and says, and you just had a baby, this is abuse, cheating is abuse, and no one will tell me otherwise. And she says, agree, I've always said this. Which, again, I really want to emphasize the kind of vulnerable state that Megan was in, especially since she was postpartum and had just had a child, and this is all happening as she's trying to manage and again navigate motherhood as a first-time mom and stuff like that. And genuinely, I see some people kind of speculating that she will need to eventually move on, which again, you guys can look at her comments. There are comments like that in there where people are saying she needs to move on and she can't keep lingering on this, and why can't she just stop talking to Zach? But at the end of the day, this whole situation is obviously much more complex than any of us know, including myself, because obviously Megan isn't able to share everything online, and nor should she have to, right? I think it's important that she's able to share what she wants as she feels comfortable to do so, but also important to note that if you have a child with another person, that person, regardless of the terrible things that they've done and the horrible things they've done to you, they still technically have a right to their child. And so Megan can't just stop talking to Zach because they have a child together. And what I think is so unfortunate is now, you know, allegedly Leah is trying to pretend to be Megan in these sorts of ways where she's mimicking her. She's getting the same tattoos, haircuts, etc. We've seen that in previous videos. And now Clover is bugging to go over to Leah's house because Clover doesn't understand, like, obviously what's going on here. And I respect that Megan doesn't want to bring Clover into it, obviously, because she's so young. But how horrible that would be as a mother to know that you know, gave birth to this child. This is your child, and this other woman who allegedly is already trying to steal aspects of her life, has already stolen, if you know a person can be stolen, your ex-husband at this point, and is trying to live your life, is now trying to parade around as like a mother of your child. Like, that would drive me insane. And Megan has so much, you know, strength for being able to navigate this. But regardless, let me know your thoughts on what Megan has said in the comment section below. Please be kind, please be compassionate, do not, you know, send hate to anybody involved. I really recommend you guys go check out Megan's TikTok and show her love there, because that's the best way to support her, obviously, because, you know, views and stuff like that, comments, interactions on TikTok can help creators make money. And not that I think Megan is strapped for cash or anything like that, but obviously, if a situation like this is happening to you, I feel like you should, you know, get some sort of, you know, I don't know, ability to recover from it, whether that be financial, emotional, whatever that might be. So please, guys, do go show some Megan some love. And with that being said, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys next time. Bye bye.